As hard as Batman fights for Gotham, much of the city's fate will always rest in the hands of its citizens and the choices that they make. This is perfectly illustrated in 2008's The Dark Knight, when Joker's voice resonates through the speakers of both ferries, announcing that there are bombs on both boats, and that each boat has the detonator to the other boat. If one of them pushes the button, that boat will live. If neither boat pushes the button by midnight, they both blow up. And they may want to act quickly because the people on the other boat may not be so noble. Let's explore a different reality. A reality where the boat holding the criminals explodes. Stay tuned to the end, where we'll discuss a bonus theory about this scene. Joker has just finished his announcement and disconnects. Some of the law-abiding citizens are in shock and sit motionless, stunned. Parents hold their children. Hungry babies cry, oblivious to the threat facing them all. Several passengers clumsily reach for their phones, calling loved ones and friends to explain what's happened and to say goodbye, just in case they don't make it. One of them has a friend who works for the Gotham News Network, and he calls her to tell her what's happening. The story breaks on the media, and within minutes, it's an international headline. The boats drift in the water, their engines dead. As the clock nears midnight, Batman is fighting Joker. Joker has beaten him to the floor and has him pinned down with a bar. We really should stop this fighting, otherwise we'll miss the fireworks. There won't be. An explosion cuts off Batman as a flash lights up the sky. He turns his head to see a boat fully engulfed in flames. Joker laughs. Do you know how I got these scars? Batman forces himself out of the shock and kicks Joker over the edge, but catches him with the grapple. He ties it in place, anchoring Joker upside down. One fist grabs Joker by the hair. The other fist beats Joker's face, blackening Joker's eyes, breaking his nose, and knocking out his teeth. Joker knows that he's winning the battle for Gotham's soul, so he takes the beating with laughter, knowing that his ace in the hole, Harvey Dent, has snapped and is loose in the city. Harvey is terrorizing Gordon and his family, flipping his coin to decide whether Gordon's son lives or dies. Bad side, he shoots. He flips for himself. Good side. Harvey flees, leaving Gordon and his wife and daughter crying over James. Gordon doesn't know yet, but he soon will. Every time Harvey has the freedom to kill and comes across Gordon or his wife or daughter, he'll flip his coin to decide whether they live or die, just as he'll do to Joker and anyone else who deserves to answer to his brand of justice in Gotham City. After Joker has taken several blows, he spits out blood and tells Batman, "Once you're done here, you may want to check on Harvey Dent and all the heroic things he's done." "What did you do?" Batman asks, temporarily holding back his rage. Joker, now laughing like a maniac, replies, "I took Gotham's White Knight and I brought him down to our level. It wasn't hard. See, madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push." SWAT takes Joker into custody as Batman hurries to his Batcycle to find Gordon. There's only one place Harvey could be if he's found Gordon, where Rachel died. As Batman races through the city, Lucius Fox tells him that panic has taken over Gotham. The ferry containing the criminals was the one that had exploded. "The good citizens killed them?" Batman asks. "Not exactly," Lucius answers. "Someone on the boat called a journalist. He said that he had eyes on the detonator at all times, and no one on his boat pressed the button." "It fits," Batman says. "Joker switched the addresses when he told me where Rachel and Harvey were. He must have lied and each boat had their own detonator." Lucius's voice carries through Batman's cowl again. The government shut down the airport and sealed off the city to prevent any terrorists from escaping and threatening other parts of the country. They've sent in the National Guard and federal law enforcement to assist GCPD in securing the city. Once Joker and his accomplices are found, Gotham should be free again. Until then, most people are staying in their homes. They're scared out of their minds. Several of them don't believe the man who said that his ferry didn't kill anyone. This city might eat itself. "We won't let that happen," Batman responds. Getting off his bike, he runs through the grounds and his gut sinks as he finds Gordon weeping with his family over the body of his slain son. "No," Batman whispers. "Harvey," Gordon pushes through his tears. Harvey did this. He flipped his coin. He said that I should have weeded out the corruption in my department sooner, that it would have saved Rachel. The coin landed on the bad side. He shot my boy. He groans in agony. Batman sets his hand on Gordon's shoulder, comforting him as he mourns. Little Barbara hugs her mother. Batman knows he has to find Harvey. Harvey will be going after anyone involved in Rachel's execution. Gordon shakes his head. He's punished all of them already. No, he hasn't. We have to save the mayor. Gordon lifts his head for the first time since his son was murdered. You're right. I'll call him. Tell him to flee. No. Batman lowers the phone in Gordon's hand. He'll run right into Harvey. Tell him to stay inside and we'll stop Harvey before he enters. Batman rushes to the mayor's house and Lucius uses the sonar system to help search for Harvey. Meanwhile, the National Guard is rescuing the people off of the lone ferry. Military personnel search and screen every passenger before they're released to safety outside of Gotham. A swarm of reporters and photographers are waiting. Multiple passengers say the same thing. We didn't push the button. Then why did the other boat explode? Asks a raven-haired reporter from Metropolis's Daily Planet. We don't know. All we know is that none of us were able to push that button. Meanwhile, Batman has spotted Harvey approaching the mayor's house. Harvey, don't do this. You thought we could be decent men in an indecent time. He aims the gun at Batman and flips the coin. Batman knows that Harvey's killed without mercy, including a child. He has to be stopped. So, before the coin can land, Batman tackles him to the ground. GCPD takes him into custody at Arkham. Gordon appears in the background, and he and Batman retreat for privacy. Gordon looks at Batman, still in shock and grief. What are we going to do now? The Joker took the best of us and tore him down. Batman doesn't know. He doesn't have the answers. The city will hear about this new criminal in Gotham. They'll see news footage of him. They'll recognize his face and know that he was Harvey Dent, their former DA. Their White Knight no longer. All Batman can say is, this will set back Gotham's ability to hope for good to return to Gotham. Gordon looks Batman in the eye. They'll have to settle for us then, for you. Batman turns to him, appearing uneasy about being the foundation of anyone's hope. We lost our White Knight, but we still have our Dark Knight. He'll have to be our beacon of hope, because he's my hope too. Gordon, I'm not your hope. I failed. I didn't save your son. Without you, Harvey probably would have succeeded in killing the mayor, and who knows how many more people. You don't win every battle, but you've saved countless lives. I believe in the Batman. There will be no Dent Act, no easy way out for Batman. Bruce has to continue with his double life. He has to fight through the pain, the hardship, his broken heart, his loss of Rachel. He has to fight to clean Gotham, until another hero can come forward who can clean up Gotham without wearing a mask. Someone who won't be corrupted. Gordon leaves Batman in the shadows as the Gotham News Network arrives at the mayor's house. Gordon tells the world the truth. The National Guard has concluded a quick investigation, and while we're still waiting for the results of their full investigation, which will take several months, right now it appears that the passengers in the ferry that survived are telling the truth. The National Guard has studied the detonator and found that the button had never been pressed. It's in keeping with GCPD's interactions with the Joker. He had a habit of switching targets and intel to manipulate us. A journalist interrupts. So what you're saying is that Joker lied about the detonators, that each boat had the detonator for their own boat? Yes, so it appears that what happened was that the ferry with the criminals pressed the detonator to kill the other ship, but instead killed themselves. 5 years later. After Joker's crime spree, Gotham City Police Department became heavily militarized. Officers are trained to trust citizens even less. They're given more weapons and more lethal weapons. Privacy laws in Gotham and the United States vanished, as police are now able to read every text and every email, listen to every phone call, use facial recognition, and employ the use of stingrays to spy on people without any warrants required, all in the name of fighting domestic terrorism. Because Gotham has the highest crime rate in the nation, GCPD infringes on their citizens' privacy more often and is more heavily militarized than other police departments throughout the nation. Gothamites resent this, and they are skeptical of the Batman who helps the police who spy on them. Gordon has coped through years of grief by burying himself in his work, until eventually his wife left him. Each year, it becomes easier to throw himself into his work deeper, because as Barbara grew up, she took interest in sports and is currently training in martial arts and competing in gymnastics. She's learned discipline and confidence and found healing in it. Gordon, however, never gives himself time to think about his loss, to feel it, to mourn. He just keeps moving, on to the next murder, the next kidnapping, the next overdose that claims a young life. Gotham is never short of criminal investigations. A dark, familiar silhouette stands in the shadow on GCPD's rooftop. Gordon gives him a smile as he turns off the bat signal. Batman steps out of the darkness. The night Gordon lost his son, Batman had told him that he had loved Rachel. Their friendship grew as they shared a common history. They had both lost someone they loved to the Joker, since Joker had twisted Harvey into the monster who took Gordon's boy. And despite suffering great loss at Joker's hands, they both never crossed that line, and because of that, they've both trusted each other even more. We have a new threat. Gordon hands Batman a file. Some new whack job killed the mayor, calls himself the Riddler. Did you all enjoy this? Let me know. Now on to the bonus theory. I have 2 theories that might explain why the big guy on the boat with the criminals threw the detonator out the window. 1, what if he knew that they had the detonator for their own bomb? I used to think that he was a reformed criminal, and he threw the detonator out of the window because he knew the value of human life and wanted to do the right thing and make sure that his boat didn't kill anyone, especially a boat that had innocent children on it. Now, he still might have been a reformed person who'd turned a new leaf, but what if, because of his experiences and the way he used to think during his years of crime, he was able to see through Joker's plot and knew that Joker had lied? He wouldn't articulate to the people on his boat that he knew they were holding the detonator to their own bomb, because that would just lead to an upset on the boat and an argument would only slow him down. The fastest way to save their lives was to take the detonator under threat of force and discard it. And he doesn't look like someone who's going to explain himself. The other possibility is that he might have had friends or family on the other boat. Most of us would sacrifice ourselves to save someone we love. And remember Joker's promise? That in their final moments, people show you who they really are? This guy might have thought that he could have a partner or kids or even a close friend on the other ferry. He decided he wouldn't let them die. What do you think of the story and the bonus theory? Do you see events going differently? Do you have any other theories on why the criminal on the ferry threw out the detonator? As always, keep weaving the threads of your stories.